Right, so we are trying to get the video for everybody to see exactly what Kwesi Oting had to say. Some of you were asking where Kwesi Oting has been. Kwesi Oting has been missing. I asked him the same question and he said, listen, the gospel space, though, it's a very, very slippery ground. So you have to be very, very careful. So I decided to take a step back. I mean, and when he did say that, we posted the video. We had a lot of reactions. And one person that reacted that is true is Uncle Fred. Uncle Fred, you said you've also
experienced that, but it's not in the terms of the spiritual aspect that you're saying that somebody will take you, his CD to the cemetery. Why the cemetery? Why is it that anything that is spiritually connected is negative? If you go to the shrines, very dirty, for you to have access to certain things, you have to go through certain spiritualities. Yes, I believe in spirituality. It's real because I've experienced that, man.
Right.
So 10 years ago, when the flood had settled, I had my studio being bent. It was as a result of what Obinim saw. Then he called me that this is what's going to happen to you. So I believe in spirituality.
Obinim saw it?
Yes. And he called me. I wasn't even attending his church.
Okay.
It was one of the sound engineers who works with me, who was the sound engineer. I said, you're working with a certain man. Something is going to happen to him. In terms of flood and fire. So call him for me. I went there and told me, gentleman, something is going to happen to you. It involves death. And at the end of the distance, my brother-in-law died too. That day, I had worked for Samson Dean. He was pressurizing me to come and give his, his jingle. While I was going, as if it was a trance, I saw Obinim telling me in the trance that, don't go. By 9 o'clock, fire has consumed my place. So I had to even go to his place to, give a testimony. So I believe in that kind of spirituality. But when it comes to the gospel terrain, in terms of that spiritual experience, it's the individual, the biting, the bickering, the kind of things that we say about our gospel fraternity. People have formed cliques in the gospel music that they will never let any other musician pass through. You know my son Kyei Mensah also sings.
Yes. He's a very good friend.
And if I tell you the kind of blockages that he has had in the industry, yes. You have voices. You can see people plotting against him physically. He's a son of...
In the same gospel space?
Yes. I don't trust them. I'm telling you, the gospel fraternity, they are dangerous more than some of this thing. Because the space is very limited and because of indoctrination, different doctrines that are practiced by different churches. You are not in my church. My church, we speak English, so Charlie, you can't be part of me. So any kind of program that comes, they try to sideline you. If you look into the system, the ecosystem, people have formed cliques that the various kind of concepts that are happening all over. You see certain group of people, don't see other people. Why is it happening? So the juju that he's saying, yes, maybe he has experienced it. I can be in his shoes. But the juju stands for the fact that people go behind people and backstab them.
Wow. All right, let's go on Zoom and speak with Ninoy right now before he leaves. Ninoy, good morning.
Good morning, Wesley.
How are you?
Good morning to... I'm fine. And good morning to Uncle Fred, Robert, and Prophet. Good morning to everyone.
Right. Ninoy, I mean, you are in the gospel space as well. You've managed a few gospel musicians. Hearing that this is happening in the gospel space, does it come surprising to you, or you actually have witnessed it as well?
I would not say it comes as a surprise to me. Every field of endeavor, not only the gospel, I think that you have spiritual attacks, but just that in the gospel is heightened more because you are on a course to win souls for Christ. So other forces that are not for Christ will by all means come in to affect, and will come in a lot of ways, either through your colleagues or through people who don't like your music, or people who just don't like the fact that you are winning souls for Christ. So some of these attacks, they are open and they come in. Some of them start on a friendly note, but they are still attacks that you need to take seriously. There are a lot of them, even in recent times, that we've seen that have come on friendly notes, but they are serious attacks that, turn out to be more spiritual than we thought. So yes, I don't doubt Kwesi Oting because I've heard a lot of stories from artists I manage and some that I don't manage. Even this morning, I was speaking to an artist on the same subject, and I mean, it's something that we are carrying the space. But the assurance is that we are thinking about someone who is bigger than all of these, and we still have to place hope. So I watched the full Kwesi Otteng interview, and I like the fact that he says, go back to the word, go back to that source, and that is the huge assurance that we need to be taken out of this. And yes, the sabotage, the fact is that it will be difficult to say we are stopping it today or tomorrow, but the assurance is there and we need to go to that source.
Wow. I mean, let me come to Robert. Let me ask you this. Is it not too surprising that it's happening in the gospel space? You would expect that it should happen between the gospel and the contemporary musicians where it's like, yeah, this is your journal, this is our journal, this and that and that. But in the gospel fraternity, they are fighting amongst themselves. So how do they even win?
So I would break it down into two specific spheres. The first one has to do with the human nature bit. If I believe in abundance, I'm never going to have an issue with anybody wanting to be a star. If I understand that the sky is so big and can accommodate several stars, I will not have a problem if somebody is a star because we have equal positions in the place. But for most of us, if somebody is becoming number one, then we feel like then it means that you're out of the game and there's no opportunity for you, you are out of the space. So it's just human nature. If you listen to, obviously you had a conversation with him, and so having listened, what he said is that he coming into the space, coming with something new, basically made people feel uncomfortable. And then he had attacks on that particular front. Now, he wasn't just doing something new, he was doing something different as well, which was resonating with a lot of people, an aspect of the gospel that was literally not being tapped into. So he was highlighting that and he was getting the buzz, you know? And so people felt uncomfortable with it because obviously he was shaking the system. Now, that aside, there are people who, and we've seen even from scripture, that sometimes you can follow God so zealously that things that you don't think are okay for God, you would even attack it, only for you to later realize that you are doing the wrong thing. And classic example is Paul in the scriptures. It's clear he was attacking Christians because for him, everything about Christianity was wrong until he had the Damascus experience. So it is there, it happens. So that is just to be able to say that human nature and then you wanting to follow God, you can, you know, because Jesus Christ was not even accepted. Because again, you know, that kind of stuff. They were wondering what kind of, you know, teachings he was bringing to the space. So it's normal. Now, the other part has to do with spirituality. We wrestle not against flesh and blood, against principalities, the scriptures are there. All of that clearly talking about this. So if indeed he was doing something good and it was contributing to the statistics in heaven, then obviously, if I were the devil, what do you think I would do? I have to attack the person. And I also know that for anything you say and you profess, you are going to be tested about it. Listen to the lyrics of the song, I win. It be God that they bless me. Yes, we'll attack you to show us if you really win. Because you are professing it. You know, that kind of stuff. That's what it, because death and life lies in the power of the tongue, and those who love it, thereof shall eat its fruit. So if you are professing it, we will attack you to see if you will still stand by it. You know, and the fact that, you know, you don't trust Christians and all of that, we've already been told in scripture, cursed is the man who trusts in the arm of flesh. So the things are already there in scripture. I mean, beware of those who come to you wearing sheep's clothes as though they are false prophets have gone. Like, there are a lot of scriptures that actually literally support it. So I think that we should understand that this particular space, by scriptures and by warnings and stuff like that, already has a lot of undertones of it not being right. And for everything genuine, you will have counterfeits. So please.
But then again, you know, these are people that are to win souls for Christ aside the pastors. And this is where, Bishop, you come in. It looks like your work is becoming very difficult. You know, back in the day, we're not hearing it as we are hearing it now. What has changed? What's different?
Well, my dear, I don't think that it has changed. This thing have been there for many years, just that we were not aware. You know, now because of publicity and things like that, so many things that we never thought that they were real are now coming into the limelight for us to know. One of the things that we must understand is that not everybody that sings gospel music is a Christian. There's a difference between being a singer of gospel music and being a Christian. There's even a difference between being a preacher and being a Christian. You can be a preacher or a prophet and you are not a Christian.
How?
Yes. It's a career.
So it's a career?
Yeah, it's a career. You can choose to have the career aspect.
But they say you carry the oil.
That's what I'm saying, that you can just choose. People, sometimes when people look into an avenue, they are trying to get something to do and things like that. They look into the avenue and say, oh, I no bit mafa. So they can just pattern their life into that area, and before you know, they are there. I'm telling you, there are many, many prophets who are not Christians.
Are they the people you would refer to as false prophets then?
Yes, false prophets and
so
things like that.
Are able to
for us to be able to have that.
Yeah.
Okay.
But you can even tell
even
who
people
is false and who is not false, right?
And the gospel musicians too. There are many gospel musicians that are not Christians, because if you're a Christian, you will understand that there are certain things that you ought not to do. That your space is your space, what God has given to you. See, you may even have a song today that will not blow, but 20 years later,
that same song can blow.
That same song will become a news for you, and it will bring blessing in your hands. This thing you are talking about, they are so real. I'm a prophet, I'm a man of God. People come to me all the time with all kinds of stories and things, and we see a lot of things. Like Uncle Fred was saying, spirituality is real, it's there. There are two types. The normal one of the concern, the jealousy, the plotting, the cartel. Let's create a system. Let's not allow this one to come when it comes and things like that. And then there are evil plottings. People are evil. We must understand that human beings are evility or evil mentality is closer to us.
But Bishop, then I think that there will be people out there who will say that then the pastors are failing us, because the pastors are supposed to help us have raise people for Christ. And so pastors are supposed to be the shepherd. And so if you, as a shepherd, you are not raising the right flocks, then it's the pastors who are failing.
Mpelifo say ubetimi de ponko no akọ nsuo no ho. Nanso so be mana no nsuo no de e ono ankasa ni prerogative. All right? Like the two brothers, brother Ralph and Uncle Fred said, it's individual. People think that instead of passing through the right way, praying and fasting, and those days when you want to bring a song, you will go to mountains to pray and things like that. That also shows that there are forces, there are powers of darkness that are preventing that you will not be able to break through until you pray and things like that. So instead of people passing through that, they want a quick way. They have heard that even in football, in business and things like that, if you go and do juju and things like that, you'll be able to blow. But the thing is, it doesn't have a future. This thing doesn't have a future. You may come once, blow within a time, but a short, you are gone. A music that is properly prepared through Christ's process, the process of prayer, fasting, waiting upon the Lord, and going through discipleship. These days, people don't even stay in churches. So once they know how to sing small, they leave the church. You understand? They don't have... You see, if you are a gospel musician, you should have a pastor. You should have a mentor. You should have a leader. Apart from having a singer as your mentor, you should have a pastor who teaches the word, because you are explaining the word. Do you know that many gospel words, musical words, lyrics, are not even Christians?
Okay, I'll have to come into that.
Because when they get the word, some of them need to seek the revelations of deeper things. They come out and sing it, and we are all following.
Uncle Fred, you're a producer. You've produced for a very long time. How are we able to tell which one is gospel song, which is from the word, and which one is not?
That is the problem. So the gospel is the gospel of Christ. Is that not right? The teaching. So it's based upon scripture, what you bring in. But there are certain aspects of life in terms of our composition that also reflects in our life. For instance, Amachi did this song. I'm not time for a ferry. We always go and say the devil should be casted away or something like that. So if Amachi Dede is singing this one, to me it reflects the God in us. But he has, labeled himself as a secular musician, so people will label him as such. Normally, people write on rhythms based upon their emotions and a whole lot of things. People consume music. I like hymns. So you see me Sunday playing my hymns for me to exude that kind of confidence. Somebody too will prefer the other way in terms of others, like Afrobeat, in terms of inculcating it into the gospel vein. So it depends on you, the artist. What kind of mission do you have? What kind of audience appeal do you want to reach? Maybe the youth of today, they like to dance to certain rhythms. So let me give him the rhythm of today and then inculcate that kind of biblical aspect into it. So while the person is enjoying, he's also listening to the word for it to change. So it is many and varied in terms of how we...
But do we have a lot of hypocrites in church then?
Come again.
Do we have more hypocrites in church?
Oh, yes, the hypocrites, they are there.
It's the same
Ushers. Ushers are one. Instrumentalists, we are part of pastors. Everyone wants to catch the eye of the pastor so that they will not even give you weight.
Well,
we have a lot of... The church is imbued with a lot of things. People, look, these days, because of technology, people sit at home and then watch our Facebook. I don't want to even go to the church because of certain variables that have really happened. For me, 30 years, I wasn't attending church.
Really?
Yes, because a pastor came to tell me, when I was dating my wife 35 years ago, I had attended the church. Probably the lady had gone to see the pastor that she likes me. I was working with Michelle, not knowing the lady had married before, and he had even fibroid problems. So this pastor during the church service, they called me, Uncle Fred, come here. It's a young man. Yeah, we went to Achimota Forest to pray. The Lord told us that, Charlie, this is a woman. I said, you go to Achimota Forest, that's where the trees are bigger. You can't go to Achimota Forest and come and tell me. My wife too was there, we were dating. So they told me lies. So in 1996, the church split. Some of the pastors went other way, and I said, no. So for 30 years, I wasn't even playing in the church, never. Until I went there, I said, okay, let me go back. Because I got fed up, and then I said, the very place that we say we want to go and have salvation, these are what people were playing around our minds and a whole lot of things. But now, in terms of technology has come, as we are here, somebody is also looking at us somewhere. You can even converse with somebody and probably using our very full. So me, I think the juju is here, in technology.
It's in the technology.
That's right.
Because you are facing that one.
Yeah, that's right. So we face so many problems. But there are genuine Christians as well. I mean, people whose music resonates. Look at the hymns that John Wesley and people wrote. When you listen to them and they are being played harmoniously, you can feel the impact. You can feel the impact. It changes the soul. You see, God has created in such a way that we can repair our own selves even by not taking any kind of medication.
Robert, is the future of gospel bright in Ghana?
The future of gospel is as bright as the word of God says, really. It says, go out into the world and preach the gospel to every creature, and this word shall reach to the ends of the earth before God shall come, right? So before the end shall come. So essentially, it will keep increasing. I think the Bible is one of the books that's translated the most in the world and into several languages. And so basically, I mean, you can't dispute what it would be like in terms of gospel stretching out there. But then again, with this comes the fact that everything about the gospel spreading also comes with the fact that false prophets will continuously expand. If you take the issue of Jesus Christ 12 working with one person that is negative, create the multiply effect, and you would understand that at the end of the day, for every 12, you can have at least one.
At least one.
So for every 12, you can have one, then understand that. Because it wasn't like it came from somewhere. Judas was in there. He was in the circle. So that's what I'm saying. Do not be surprised. Even the champion himself had somebody in the circle. So that's what like, the warning is already there. You understand? So don't think, hey, so why? No. Even Christ.
It's normal.
Christ suffered.
It's normal.
Yeah, it's normal. And he has said it. It's there. There are scriptures, you can read all of them. Basically, so let's just understand that these things exist and they will exist all the way through to the end. So what it is for you is to acknowledge that this exists and how to be smart. It says, do not be ignorant of the devices of the devil. He didn't say the devil doesn't exist. He said, do not be ignorant. So just be aware that they do exist and then find a way to work around them. Essentially, that's what it's supposed to be. So I like what he said about discipleship. I think that anybody walking into the space of being a gospel musician, you should understand that you're not just being a musician, you're being a minister. Because from Old Testament, they refer to as ministers. They are part of the Levitical or Levite, so to say. Right? So you're a minister, and if you're a minister, what does it mean? So that whole coaching, you are there, public space, your voice is loud, hitting multiple areas, multiple countries. Your voice is even traveling more than some of the pastors. Because your words are going, places where the pastors are not going. So you are more or less a minister. So what does it mean? You're a target. And if you're a target, what does it mean? Emotionally to you, psychologically to you. Being, so if you have a pastor, you have a team, and it's not just a team advancing the business aspect of your music, but it has to be the spiritual representation that you have. I think it has to be three 360.
Yeah.
So maybe that orientation has to be there so that people would know. But negatives would always exist. We can't take that.
But do you think we can reduce it a bit?
We can.
Or we
I
can?
mean, leave that to the world.
Really? Can't pastors do it? Don't you think pastors is about time pastors
when
will
human
name-
beings were 3, Satan was part of it. Sorry, when human beings were 2, Satan was part of it.
So,
when Jesus had 12, the betrayer was there. All I'm saying is that it's been there.
These things are
Admit
normal,
that
they are going to
you
be
want the
there forever.
rose, and so the thorns are there. And manage how you work with the thorns. The rose is there. You want the rose, but understand that the thorns are there. That's it.
You were saying something, Bishop.
Yes, I said, just to add to my brother what he's saying, this thing is normal. It's going to be there forever. You must be aware. Don't be ignorant of this very truth. Once you want to be a leader, you must know that somebody is also vying for the same place you are. Therefore, gather spiritual voices. You need to also be aware of this truth and then form a team of prayer, spiritual men that will be able to help you spiritually. Once you are forming your business team, the marketers, the social media, and all those things, you should also have in your team as a gospel musician, spiritual people, prayer warriors, prayer towers, to be praying with you, because the power of gospel music is so powerful, so enormous. A pastor may preach. I preach several messages that doesn't go viral. You sing just 5-minute song and it will be there for 100 years. 100 years, just 5-minute song that you are singing, or 10. The longest song is about 10 minutes or something.
No, so 20.
Now they have longer ones.
Longer songs, about 15 or 20.
Listen to
longer songs.
Yeah.
But even that one, repetition, you'll be repeating lyrics and rhythms and things like that. 15 minutes or 20 minutes, and it's going to stay forever. I preach Sunday 3 hours, 2 hours every day. I preach today. I'm going to preach. It won't go anywhere. Saturday I will preach. It won't go anywhere. Sunday I will preach. But when you
know the reason why they are not melodic in terms of preaching.
Yeah.
Yes. Because it sounds the same, like as if somebody is reading.
Yeah.
But when you add melody,
when you add melodies and
sing a little bit
that's
to
so gospel music is one of the strongest channels through which Christ uses to reach the world. So once you say you want to be a gospel musician, you must know the precedents, the systems, the covenant practices that makes your words to be accepted and makes your vision and the purpose of which God have called you into the gospel music. That's why I said that don't just be desire to sing gospel music.
Right.
Know that you are going to make impact in the lives of people. People listen to music and they get healing, they get salvation, they get deliverance.
Bishop,
and things like that.
is it that, I like that you're saying that, you know, people listen to gospel music, they get healing, they get salvation, but it looks like there's also a business aspect to it now. And so it's not even about the healing aspect, it's now more of how do I make money, how do I get to the top, how do I win the awards? That's what it is.
That's where, you know, if you focus on that area too much, you know, you become so aggressive to the extent that you have to kill. You think that when you kill somebody, then you become the star. The point is,
that's right.
Yeah, you don't kill. What I say? This is a spiritual word that when you are coming into the space and you want to kill somebody to take their space, you can never take anybody's space. Look into the system of music or even pastors' voices and things like that. Anybody who try to use somebody's voice, you will never be accepted. It will be very difficult for you to replace somebody's voice. Even when they are so close, the personality, the ambience, the reactions and actions are different.
Right.
We have musicians in this country that a certain young lady died, you know, and another lady picked up her platform. Up to now, does it have that capacity, that crowd compared to the lady that died? No. She tried to even sing like her. But it didn't work as the young lady that was there.
Yeah.
So if you kill somebody so that you will become a star, you will never be star.
You never be a star. But Uncle Fred, are the supporters part of it? You know, the fan base?
Oh, yes, they're also part of it. You know, they try to eulogize you, let you know that, hey, you are the primus inter pares, you're best among equals. And this feed into the artist that, look, once I am there, I mean, everybody should, you know, talk to my aims and caprices. But it doesn't happen. there are this, that David was once a shepherd, but it came at a time that he was a king. So one can never rule in that kind of system. I mean, we have system and structures. Gone with this. 35 years ago, when the technology in terms of music came, I was the only person having 3 computers in Ghana. People queue up. Zamales and the Semen, they queue up to come and rent my computer. These days, they all have even sophisticated things more than mine. So things really change. So if you're in a system and you think that every time you must win, VGMA came in 1999, 20,000. Go and see the reflections in terms of stage designs, the kind of artists that they are compared to now. People have evolved along the line. So if you come into reality, you have to ask yourself that, look, Charlie, man can never stay forever. I have trained a lot of sound engineers. If you look at the system, Apietus and JQ, who are my students, the kind of rhythms that they have composed and the kind of artists that they have worked with, I've never. But in terms of experience, I have.
Right.
Yes. Because me, when I came into the system, like the typical Ashanti man, so my focus was more of jingles. So one jingle can fetch me.
Typical Ashanti man, pesika.
So I focus on jingles. So one jingle that I will do can be compared to about 30 artists booking in your studio.
Okay.
So I'll make the money, you make the fame at the end of the day. So you have all that kind of this. So that's where my concentration was. So if you look at family jingles, Furious 6, I was doing that time.
Okay.
But now, I'm living at the expense of what I created
many years.
Yes, many years ago. That's what I'm living on. And the kind of contribution I'm making in the music industry. That doesn't mean that if I see a Pietis or BQ moving forward, then I should be jealous of them.
Of it, yeah.
Each one shines in his own way. My son Kyei Mensah that he's singing, in terms of music, is far better than me. Because he can sight read and play. I can't sight read and play. I play from memory. He understands music. He's a southpaw. I saw him playing with the right hand. And so these are some of the kind of the strategies that come into the music play. So at every point in time, one is moving forward. So if you want to chase the wind, definitely, Charlie, these are the very...
But Uncle Fred, with regards to Kyei, the kind of voice notes you have and recordings that you have, how's your relationship between yourself and these gospel musicians that have plotted and you have evidence?
Oh, yes, the relationship, we all see ourselves and laugh.
You pretend?
Oh, yes, you have to pretend sometimes. You have to pretend. But sometimes you have to also tell them in the face. When he was coming into the system, I told him, your father, this year will be my 40 years in the industry.
Wow.
These are some of the things that you are going to face, definitely. So you have to adjust to the system. And it really did happen. You know, hey, the way crowd of buying on your VG, 3 nominations, Niela, she did all these things are there. But they say the strength of your arm will determine how many acres a farmer will give you to weed. What do you put in is what you get. All right? When I was training Apietus, I asked Apietus to play one song for Furious. Furious told me, no, you're apprentice. But later in life, who gave him all the big hits? It was Apietus. So sometimes the people that we despise at the very beginning, one time, they are the very people who also lift you up. You know, so I show him the rudiments of the game, that these are things that, so sometimes he comes to me and cry me, and Daddy, I had a gig here, and then somebody has, so Charlie, it should happen to you. Just strive on. One day you hit.
But the ones that you confronted, you've confronted a few, right?
Oh, well, a few of them also, yes, I can you deny? So Charlie, also find you pretend. Sometimes that's how the police, they say they're able to catch, crooks. You always pretend. That's right. Pretension is there.
Robert, TGMA seems to be doing a lot too, It brings out the whole competitiveness. But aside that, it makes them want someone to pull some down, and they want the artists to go on top and all of that. Am I lying?
You're sitting, there's nothing wrong with healthy competition. Nothing wrong with healthy competition.
But do you think it's healthy? Do you think we are in a healthy competition here?
Yes. There's nothing wrong with healthy competition. It's a sport, really. And that's what sport is all about, healthy competition. At the end of the day, congratulations. Oh, you did a good job. Oh.
But this is where we are seeing symmetry coming in and all of that. It doesn't become healthy anymore.
But symmetry has got nothing to do with TGM.
No, maybe somebody wants to get to the top.
Somebody wanted to bring you down because you were in the space, not even because of nominations. And you'd realize he didn't say anything.
It's not a contributing factor?
Is it? Based on what was submitted, there's zero implication. No, you are insinuating. So that's you.
Okay. Oh, okay.
The submission that you got from him by virtue of the questions you asked did not mention TGM in any ways.
No, didn't mention though.
Exactly.
But awards, I'm just saying awards in general.
There's no point to it in terms of, I mean, we are yet to hear if there is really, but it's not, I don't think it's that. TGM has always been a good sport, really, and we've seen that happen over and over again. So we're done, people are done. Next year you hear them having collaborations here and there. It's a healthy competition, and I must say congratulations to all the artists for having consistently exhibited sportsmanship across the number of years. And we've seen it happen, and so basically we keep following. So it's good sportsmanship, and and we see it internationally as well. I mean, somebody wins, somebody loses. It's just that at the end of the day, somebody has to be selected as a winner, really. It's not... I think our people understand.
Our people understand.
Yeah, and they are bigger than not being... or not exhibiting sportsmanship.
Right.
Yeah.
Yesterday, you issued an official communique of the change of date. So now it's what date?
The dates initially, the initial communication was on the 3rd of May, and due to circumstances beyond our control. When I say that, I mean considering all factors, it just became necessary for us to be able to push it forward. So it's changed from 3rd to the 10th of May.
Okay.
And that meant that every activity that we had lined up leading up to the 3rd had to also change. So in this particular case, it is the pre-party and then the master class. So initially, it was going to be 1st, 2nd, 3rd, but right now it is 8th, 9th, and 10th.
Okay.
Yeah, you know, so the main event is on the 10th, and then we have the 8th being a master class, and then we have the 9th being...
I think I was at last year's master class, right? The one that happened at British Council?
So that was the summit.
Oh, that was the summit?
Yes,
okay.
so that was the summit, which it was... Yeah, so that one is going to come in June. That's going to be 21st of June, really.
Okay.
So that still means... we are maintaining that as is, you know. Yeah, so basically, that's the new date, and so there'll be communique in line with opening the chapters for those who want to participate in the masterclass. And then we'll also have the pre-party as a warm-up to the event itself.
I can't wait for the pre-party. I love to party.
And I...
All right, so I'll take your final submissions before we go. Bishop, what do you have to say?
Yes, what I want to say is that thank you for the opportunity and for your viewers who have been also contributing and things like that. But I want to say that no matter what you try to do evil to another person, you will not replace them. You can't win what they win. I remember those days, there was a lady that made a song that brought it to me. And I listened to the song and I said, this one, it won't go anywhere. She went to borrow money. She went to DJs and gave them all the monies and things like that they would play. Everybody that listened to the music chopped the money, never played the song.
Oh.
So it's not only about, you know, you becoming a star. It's what you are also bringing and the spirit that is behind it. Engage in prayer, engage in fasting, engage in leadership, counseling, and mentorship and discipleship. You will do well. No matter what, the future is open for all of us. You may not today be accepted, but tomorrow you will be. If you are not careful, you engage yourself in this kind of thing, you'll be exposed. Because the person you are trying to also bring down may have certain prayer force and power and people backing them. Tomorrow,
right.
If you are engaging in this kind of attitude and character and things like that, I'm asking you to stop them. They are real, but let's stop it. Let's go on the right way, push through, and then see you at the top.
Thank you very much. Uncle Fred.
Yeah, the world is made out of two things, positive and negative. So if you want to have power, you have to have both. And this one is also being exhibited in our space here. When I started to learn the keyboards, people were laughing at me when I played several years ago. Now, the same people today, I play my hymns, serenade them, and they tell me that I want to dash you a car. Yeah, show me your momo, they give me money. Once there's negativity in the gospel terrain, don't give up. Let them say that they get to push you. But once, also with that confidence, you are twice defeated even before they restart. Once you are confident, look, this is what I can do, that's what Fredima, I did. You have stayed. Some of my compatriots, those people that have started the sound engineering, most of them are idle, but still, I'm in the space now. Don't let negativity affect your profession. Gospel industry, because of the indoctrination, I'm a Pentecost, I'm a this man, my father, speak good English, very Kwasini, so I can't mingle with you. Let's contribute together.
Yeah.
Right, Uncle Fred. Thank you so much, Robert.
So yes, once again, the date is changed, 10th of May. That's the music's biggest celebration happening at the Grand Arena. And so voting is open now. Hash *1767# hash, and then you can vote for all your artists. We need your voice, and there's free voting available as well.
Okay.
And you can go to www.ghanamusicawards.com and you can vote for free for your favorite artist. So please, yes, throw your voice, support who you think needs to be number one. And then when at the end of the day, when it's all said and done, you can celebrate with the person. Don't wait and then come and say, but this guy. No, there's free voting. Even if you are going to complain about voting via our USSD platforms, there's free voting. So please access these platforms and do the voting. Otherwise, God bless everyone.
All right. Thank you so much, gentlemen, for being here. My guests have been Bishop Sam Owusu, Uncle Fred, Kyei Mensah, and Robert Clark. Thank you all so much for sticking and staying with us and enjoying the show from 6 a.m. till now. Today being a Friday, we have changes coming your way at exactly 1 p.m. I didn't do this alone. I did this with Esiedua Akomia. My name is Roslyn Felly. Enjoy the rest of your day. Bye.